So somehow that was all in response to what you learned about yourself this year.
Surprisingly.
I love it. We took a journey and I loved it. And I know yours was resilience, and then there was so much good connected to that thought. Mine, as far as what I learned about myself this year. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is kind of twofold, and I have like 12-ish minutes before I have to leave. Yeah, to answer this, which I can do. Um, so to set this up, I'll say first that in the past, like most people, I've struggled with insecurities about myself around things that actually don't matter, like things like appearance or like what other people think of me, um, how I articulate, and some of that matters like on some level, but ultimately in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter about who I am as a person. It's just insecurities about how I'm perceived, right? As I've grown and have let go of that some, I'm still got my stuff, obviously, but I don't care about that at the intensity, at the level that I used to. And as I've let that go, this year I've had the strength, I guess, to look at some things about myself that are actually like character flaws. And what I've learned about myself, this is a good thing, even though it's kind of a painful thing. I won't say what I learned about myself exactly, but there are things that, ways that I've treated people, like cycles that I've been stuck in that have caused me to like treat people poorly and have like not the best relationship dynamics that I could have, and like things that I was doing on repeat in friendships or in my relationship with Jake that have been hurtful and harmful to other people. And I said that about insecurities first because I think when we're so, for me, when I've been so distracted by the things I was insecure about that didn't matter, I didn't have the capacity to look at what actually mattered, that I could have
Mm,
spent time being concerned about, not in like a like self-loathing kind of way, but just hey, I only have so much control over what I look like. I have very little control over how people perceive me, but I do have control over some of these things that I can work on and change. But if I'm so occupied with this, I don't have the capacity for that. And this year, while I've let some of that go, some of this has been more noticeable to me. And I'm really thankful for that. Um, because that is something I can actually work on. And I've had to have like some hard conversations with people that I love, just apologizing, but also being like, I'm not trying to like explain it away. I'm gonna just try to actually make changes, and please have grace for me while I work on these things. I am gonna work on them, tell me when I'm doing it again, or whatever, however that looks like. If you can, that's not your job, but I'm gonna try to keep working on this. And I'm not gonna be great at it for a while, but I'm gonna work on it. Um, One of the things that was such a gift about that, those things I learned about myself this year, was I realized that a couple of my friends, like people closest to me, already knew those things about me and have known it for a while,
mm,
but still loved me.
yeah.
Like that hit at a whole new level this year, like how much more valuable, no, maybe that's not the best word, just how much more profound, how much deeper I could receive their love when I realized they've seen this flaw about me all along, even though I couldn't see it yet. And they still were close to me. They still valued me. I think in the past, had I realized something about myself that was destructive and hurtful to somebody else, I probably would have had like a meltdown. Oh my gosh, like this is my friendships are ruined and I'm, nobody's gonna want to be around me, or I just would have had some kind of, a while back would have had some kind of epic meltdown feeling like nobody was gonna love me because I was messed up in this way. But I
Which
see
is okay to be in that place.
yeah.
That's an evolution and of how
Yeah.
we get
That
to,
that would have just been where I was, like
yeah.
not a right or
And
wrong.
to be in that place is really hard and painful.
Right. Right. Of course. Yeah, like I mean that would have just been where I was and like definitely can look back and have compassion for that era of myself. And it's still been painful to recognize those things about myself, but I see this year I've learned that I have some pretty big flaws that I hadn't seen before, some patterns, but also have the capacity, have the resilience to look at those things and say like, "Oh, like that's a gift that these friendships have known this about me all along, and I can actually just receive their friendship deeper. Like, I can hold this truth about myself and the fact that I'm incredibly loved anyway. Like,
Mhm.
that's a growth in me that I didn't know I was there. I didn't know I could hold really hard truth about myself and really strong love for myself at the same time. So that was like a big development that I learned about myself this year. Like, oh, I can hold both of these things, that this is really hard and painful, and I'm not going to fall apart, and my relationships aren't going to fall apart because I'm super loved. And I can hold both of those at the same time. That
Yeah, that's
felt
really
big.
beautiful. And it also goes to show, like, when you actually come to understand there's nothing that you're doing or not doing to be loved, and there's nothing that you can do. There's people that just love you,
Yeah.
and it's not because of certain things. And I I don't see this as something new for you. Um I see this as you being extremely, like, holding yourself accountable and really, like, thinking into how would I like to be treated, and like how do I want to improve on my relationships, and also just the humility that it takes to say these things to people. um I think it almost seems like in this, what could be helpful would be to focus on less on your flaws and more on, for example, it's very simple, just um, instead of saying, I, I, this is an example, just saying, like, I wish I would respond to people sooner, um, and just, you know, give a thumbs up sign or just respond even when I don't feel like it, as opposed to saying, I don't respond to people, I'm a bad friend, or, you know, I think again, it's like the thinking, and it, don't think about what you don't want or what you're not doing. Think about what you
You
do
could,
want to be
yeah,
doing.
what you do want to be. Yeah. Yeah.
The mind changes, like, framing of it.
For
And we
sure.
only have like a minute left, but we can touch base another time.
Yeah, we can do more questions. You can let me know if you want to talk more about 2023 or if you want to jump ahead and talk about 2024, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'm down for anything.
We have learned it takes us about a
Mm.
half an hour to get through one question. Huh?
Okay, though, it's not about the questions and it's not about the time. It's about,
Yeah.
you know, within it and
Yeah.
less than a minute. And I think being able to watch it back, um, even the pauses and the things that we don't think are important or meaningful,
Yeah.
we will learn those are that's life. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you just be. And there's nothing wrong with it. I love you.
I love you.
We'll make more
Love you.
podcasts and videos.